third edition of Converted on LSD Trip is published 50 years after my conversion to Christianity on the 16th of January 1970. I tell of my early life, being born in Oldham, Lancashire, and moving to Watford at the age of 5 in the 1950s. My older brother Michael and I became young criminals in the 60s, living in Aylesbury, and were both sent to prison for malicious wounding and carrying a firearm without a licence. I relate in this book how after a 3-year career of undetected crime, I was enabled to confess to the police to over 24 crimes, and in the court I was given a conditional discharge for 3 years. At the court hearing, I related my early past, crimes and sinful past, and how I was converted from a life of crime to Christ overnight during a bad trip on LSD when Jesus spoke to me and after I called out to him for help. I tell of my learning to read as I was virtually illiterate in order to educate myself, and going on to higher education where I graduated with a Cert Ed awarded by Birmingham University in 1978, and going on to lecture in electronics in colleges of further and higher education for over 20 years. I also tell of my run-in with some religious people who were not governed, like many today, by the teaching of the Bible. I relate too of my older brother's conversion from crime to Christ after him serving a 5-year term of a 16-year prison sentence in the Philippines in 1999, and also of the work of William O. Pollock, a former friend of my brother and fellow inmate in New Bilibid prison. He too had been converted and to follow Christ, and is now a minister of the gospel of several congregations called Christ-centered Christian churches in the Philippines. This book has been written as a testimony to all people with a view to help them learn who the Lord Jesus Christ is and what he came to do, and God willing, be a means of their salvation. This book could be of help to all kinds of people.
Judges, magistrates, psychiatrists, psychiatric nurses, social workers, policemen, ministers of religion, teachers and probation officers. It has been written to help in the reformation of criminals and to be useful to those living in the margins of society, along with unruly youths, drug users and hardened criminals, including chavs, hoodies, atheists and agnostics. It is believed that this true story is as remarkable as that told by David Wilkerson in his book The Cross and the Switchblade, a famous classic from the 1960s.
Available from Amazon.co.uk and Amazon.com, and in Europe.